guys, Submoto here. So it's been a while since I've looked at the SR500, and I've talked to a couple of you guys about what needs to be done on it. And I'm here with my buddy Johnny and Alexander, and they're going to help me out with the SR500 here and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it. What happened, to those of you who don't know, is I was just riding the bike, and then just all of a sudden it just died, and I have no idea what the reason is behind it. I've had a couple of good suggestions, which I'll be trying out today from some of y'all that have written on in the comment section, and my buddy Maki also had great mechanic, by the way. He had a couple of suggestions too, so we're going to be running through that. So first things first, obviously we're going to try and look at the electronics and see if we can get it to start again. If we can get it to start, what we're going to do is we're going to change out this spaghetti right there, which is a total mess, and just start from scratch with the electronics. But there's no point in starting with the electronics and changing that out before we've figured out if it's just because of a bad connection somewhere. There are a lot of different things. So anyway, that's what we're going to be doing today, and we'll see how it turns out. So we just took this off and looked at all the water that came out of here. So yeah, so we just tried turning the engine, and there's still no spark. So we were thinking maybe it was the water that did it. And now what we're doing was just cutting the spark plug cable short, and it's just like the last end piece off, and going to screw it back on, because if there's a bad connection there, then that obviously will hinder a spark. And it's a brand new spark plug, so that isn't the issue. And here we go. Okay, here it goes. Nope, no spark. So one of the things that we were looking for is the stator here. When you take off the bolt in the middle right here, and there's like a little hole right in there. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a hole in there, and there's supposed to be like a spring clip that holds the outer shell or the stator to the same position as the bolt. Is that right? Yeah. So what it does is it allows the stator to turn in the right position, and if it didn't have that, it would turn independently of the bolt. And if it does that, then that could cause backfiring, and this bike does backfire whenever you stop it. So that was one of the things that we were looking at. But it looks like, so far, it's in the right position. So I don't think that's the problem. We just took the tank off, and just checking connections. And we're also going to check the ignition coil and see if that has a problem. Okay, so we've tried a couple of things. One of the first things we looked at also was the kill switch. If the kill switch is on these bikes, and the ignition is on, you don't want it to. You don't want the CDI box to touch the ground, because that's how the kill switch works. So if the CDI switch is black and white cable touches ground, and that will give a false ground. And that could, basically what that would do is, it would be like riding the bike with kill switch on, and that obviously would kill your spark. But we haven't been able to find false ground anywhere, so that wasn't it. And then we checked the low speed coil and followed the cables, and checked the resistance, and the resistance should be at 330, I think it was, but it wasn't. So it seems like my stator is foobar, fucked up beyond all recognition, and a lot of water came out of it when I opened the stator thing. So I think one of the things that let me get a flashlight here. One of the things that may have done that is this rubber piece right there. It was like way in there, so there's like a hole where the cables just ran through, and if the chain throws water up every time, it's like right there. That would fill up the stator section with water, which is probably where the water got in, which sucks royally. That just because a little piece of rubber just moved, then that would mean that the stator is all screwed up. But it looks okay. I mean, it's not like it's a bit of rust on it, but not much. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have to open the stator, like get into the coils, and see if there's anything that's loose in there, anything that needs to be changed. Because otherwise I may just have to get another stator, and that would suck because those things are a bit expensive. Oh man! Well, this spaghetti needs to be changed. Obviously, I mean everything's just, we're gonna tear the whole thing apart and just start from scratch with the electronics. But it would just be nice to be able to start the engine first and then change the cables, because then that way you know it works and there's not something else. But we may just have to change the stuff anyway, just while I'm waiting for on the stator. So we just had our buddy Maki show up, and the guy's an expert on SR500s, and he helped us out measuring the different things on here. Turns out it looks like my stator is shot. You can tell there's water in there, and you know, as soon as we opened it up, like water came out. So it's probably that rubber thing, this rubber thing right here, that was in the wrong place, and water got in and destroyed it all. So who knows? Nevertheless, this thing doesn't work, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. Let's see if I can find a used one for cheap monies. Otherwise, I might have to buy a new one. That would suck. So enough bullshit. We're just gonna go ahead and change the bar, the handlebar, and the headlight, and got some other goodies that I bought that we're gonna mount. So that way we have that mounted for whenever our rewiring section is gonna take place. Man, this whole bike, I mean, it's just like, you can really tell that a lot of the things that are done on it, whereas like home remedies, like this for example, the original guy, he I guess it was broken, so instead of like buying a new one, which costs, well, I don't know, like $4, he put like this metal piece over it and then like tape. I mean, that kind of stuff, and that's probably why it is like it is. But that's why we're fixing it. We're going to make sure everything is as it's supposed to be. So I just switched this out, this broken piece right here. You know, Johnny had a few of these laying around. So that's the way to do it. Just get one that works and fits just fine. I have to repaint a lot of this crap though. But yeah, so that's something you want to do whenever you can. Like cheap stuff like that, don't like make your own homemade crap. Go out and get the right stuff, because it's going to be worth it in the long run. Look, we mounted the handlebar and the grips. Now these grips, they have like diamond shapes on them, which is going to match the seat that we're going to have upholstered. There's also going to be black leather with the diamond pattern on there. So that's going to be cool. Which is basically what I did on the SR250 also, except that was brown on brown. This is going to be black. So, and really, you shouldn't be looking into cosmetics before stuff works. And the only reason I'm doing some cosmetics here is because the wiring on there, it's critical to know the lengths of the wires, and there could be some wiring in this headlight also. So we'll see about that. But the thing is, I'd usually say, unless you absolutely have something mechanical that's linked to your cosmetic parts, stay away from cosmetics until you've done your mechanical parts. When your bike runs as it's supposed to, then you can start on your cosmetics. So unless it's directly linked as it is here, then I would say go ahead. I'm not going to paint anything, for example, until I'm totally done and the bike works. And the seat, I'm not even going to worry about the seat until the bike runs. Okay, so when you want to put on gaiters, what you want to do is you want to take off your front wheel, and there's a lot of ways of just want to make sure that your motorcycle is stable. So we just I have Alexander here sitting on the bike just to make sure that it won't tip. And once you've done that, take off the front wheel. Make sure you pull off the brake caliper, because the caliper is probably going to be connected to the actual fork, and you want to take off your front fender, so you can take off each fork one at a time. Next thing you do is you loosen the triple tree up the top, and then you loosen the bottom part. And once you loosen the bottom part, you can pull out your fork. A thing that I just learned, Alexander here, let me know. Before, back in the day, I would just put on the gator and put it over the fork and just put it over this part. I don't know why I didn't realize this would come off. But apparently, what you can do is you pull off this part right here, and that's where your gator goes, just like I did over here. And that way it doesn't look like it's pulled over anything. It just kind of looks like it's part of the fork. So there we go. There we go. And that just fits perfectly right there. And when we're talking about lowering the fork, there are different ways of doing it. One way of doing it is actually taking your fork apart, and that's a whole different procedure than this, where you actually take your fork apart and make the actual construction shorter. But in this case, what you want to do is you can actually pull it up, because before it was like down here, right? And instead of having to take the fork apart, you can get away with quite a lot. And this way you can actually pull the whole front end down a bit, which is what you want to do on a tracker or a cafe racer. On the SR250, what we did is we raised the rear end by putting some longer suspension on there. And that raised the rear end, and then we lowered the front end by doing this. And as you can tell, this is actually quite a lot, and you'll be able to tell that on the general stance of the motorcycle from the side. It'll look a lot more aggressive, and if you don't do it, you're going to end up with more of like a cruiser kind of look. So it's a good way to get past that. But then, you know, if this isn't enough, if you've done this and it isn't enough, or you don't want the kind of like horns sticking out, that's going to be more relevant on a cafe racer where you have the clip-ons. You might have two like horns sticking out. You might not want that. In this case, I don't mind because I have the tracker handlebar, so you can't really tell. So if you get to that point and it's not enough, then I would recommend, take it apart and make the fork shorter. But it is a hassle. It's difficult. Well, it's not difficult, but it takes time, and it's definitely not worth it if you can get away with doing this. So that's gators. Okay, so that's pretty much what the headlight is going to look like. Got the gators on there, and lowered the whole front end a bit. So this is kind of what it's going to look like. That is what the front is going to look like. I think it's a lot better than what it used to be. I love the tracker look, and you can tell that from the side. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell on a GoPro, but the stance of the motorcycle in general is a lot more aggressive. It's absolutely horizontal now, where before it had more like a cruiser kind of look to it. This is a lot better. This is pretty cool, and I don't think I'll need to lower it any further than that, any more than that. So anyway. That was the front end, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you can use it for your builds if you're building anything, if you want to build something in the future. And like I said, let me know. Like if you have any questions. I'm no expert, but I have done this a couple of times before. This is like my third build. So shoot me some questions, and you can shoot me some questions on Facebook. Find me on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions if I can. So remember to subscribe and ride. And I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.